Back here on SportsCenter with major breaking news in college basketball. Pete Thamel reporting Kentucky's John Calipari is finalizing a 5-year deal to become the next head coach at Arkansas. Deal's expected to be done in the next 24 hours. Calipari's second highest paid coach in the country at Kentucky, more than $8.5 million a year. Arkansas is believed to have offered Ole Miss's Chris Beard in the neighborhood of $5 million after Eric Musselman left town.
Our Sean Farnham joins us now from the Final Four in Glendale. Sean, what's your immediate reaction to this major news in college basketball?
I think it's shocking just based on what we've heard and what we saw going over the last couple of days of who was interested in the Arkansas job. And you look at Coach Cal, I mean, he is as cut through as a hire as you could possibly make. The name, the brand, the identity that he brings to a program that has a storied, rich tradition, an outstanding fan base in Fayetteville, Arkansas. To me, this is a shocking move. The timing of this move as we are sitting here on the eve of the national championship game, and one that certainly will shake up things not only in the SEC, but certainly in the Bluegrass State with Big Blue Nation.
Sean, there is no bluer blood in college basketball than the University of Kentucky. Why leave if you're John Calipari?
I think a lot of it, KC, has to do with the fact that the lack of tournament success in the last couple of seasons, the crowd, the fan base, and how they've responded. The expectation level of Kentucky, they're happy that there's many pros, but they care a lot about those banners that have the numbers on it for winning national championships. And the standard of that program has been elevated because of John Calipari and the job that he has done with that time where your success has started to become something that's used against you, and the identity of one and dones and trying to win in this got a little upset about how things have kind of been going over the last couple of years. And I think for Coach Calipari, he knows that he can still get it done. An opportunity to get a fresh start at a new program might benefit both programs.
Sean, you touched on it. Let me dig deeper here. Kentucky lost in the first round of this tournament to Oakland. They were knocked out of the second round of last year's tournament. 3 years ago, they lost in the first round to St. Peter's. They did not make the tournament in 2021. 2020 was the COVID year. In as neutral a way as possible, I want to ask this question. Why would Arkansas want John Calipari?
Well, he elevates the program with his elite level recruiting. I think that it's going, that fan base and the passion that they have for their team. We saw it time and time again. I think John Calipari is one of the best. The tournament success. Casey, what's his winning percentage during the regular season? How they fared as far as competing at Auburn. But John Calipari in Kentucky were consistently a top 25 program and consistently pumping up some of the best players in the country year in and year out. Arkansas gets that kind of momentum and that kind of traction. I think John Calipari is built to get back to a Final Four again. We want to look at a lack of tournament success and judge somebody solely based on that. I think that we are doing a disservice. I mean, look at Matt Painter a year ago and Matt Painter's record over the last couple of years and how that looked in the NCAA tournament. And tomorrow night, he's got an opportunity to win a championship as the Boilermakers get set to take on UConn.
Yeah, I pulled you away from a roast beef dinner to join us here on SportsCenter, so I don't suppose you've been working the phones and working sources here. But give us an idea of the caliber of coach that could be in the mix to replace John Calipari at Kentucky.
Anyone. Let's just start with that. Anyone. It's Kentucky basketball. I mean, you talk about blue blood programs. It's Kansas, it's Duke, it's North Carolina, it's Kentucky. Those brands and what they bring will capture anybody's attention. I think there's an interesting fallout could we see a carousel just within the SEC? I think with what Nate Oates has been able to accomplish at Alabama, his style of play, I think, would be very appeasing to the fan base in Lexington. Obviously, this is going off of no knowledge. I've not talked to Nate Oates about any aspect of this, but I think that's the kind of coach you're going to be able to go get. You're probably going to make a call to Jay Wright. I don't see any way that Jay Wright gets back into coaching. I don't. I talked to him last year in August. I think he's very happy with what he's doing and where he's at in his life right now. Would not be surprised if they reached out to somebody like Scott Drew at Baylor, seeing how he constructed that program and brought it back from where it was to where that program has become. I think those are names that will be very interesting for Big Blue Nation fans over the next couple of days, maybe week or two. But I expect Kentucky to move really fast on this. You know, John Calipari has 6 top 100 recruits signed to Kentucky right now? How many of those are going to decommit? How many of those will follow him to Arkansas? How many of those will stay and wait and see who the new coach is going to be at Kentucky?
All of those points are incredible on a night where there are seismic shockwaves in college basketball. John Calipari finalizing a deal to become the next head coach at Arkansas. Sean Farnham, great insight. Thanks for the time tonight.
No worries, Casey.
Well, Arkansas hopes Calipari's consistency, at least in the early part of his Kentucky tenure, can travel the 700 miles west from Lexington to Fayetteville. Only Duke and KU have won more NCAA tournament games than.
The reason I came back is playing games like these.
One more step down Redemption Road. The Boilermakers are in the title game for the first time since 1969.
Everyone came to UConn to try to be a part of history, and we're one step closer to our goal.
UConn can see history. One win away from a repeat national championship. It'll be UConn and Purdue, the two best teams all year long.
Double-digit wins in both of Saturday's semifinals confirmed that statement. 1 year after losing to a 16 seed in the first round, Purdue and Zach Edey are one win from a first title in 55 years. UConn looks to be the first repeat champ since 2007. Coaches Dan Hurley and Matt Pinner speak with Reese Davis on the eve of this year's title game.
How do you describe what this opportunity means to Purdue in general?
I think it means a lot to our fans. Obviously, when you haven't been to a Final Four since 1980.
You better jump on the train because Purdue is headed to the national championship game.
We've had success in the NCAA tournament, but we've also had disappointments. We've gotten in position a couple times, so I think that angst really comes from not being able to kind of get there and get the job done.
The Huskies are headed back to the national championship game to defend their title.
This team is making something that's extraordinarily hard to do look easy. How?
I don't know. I mean, we go back, the coaches, and kind of look at each other in the coaches' locker room after these games, and it's like, how is this happening? We play as hard or harder than any team in the country, and then these guys do an incredible job preparing for each opponent, respecting the heck out of them.
What challenge specifically does UConn present that maybe is a little different from the ones you've seen up to this point?
I would say their ball pressure and their rim protection. There's their collective ability to defend you, and then it's a track meet for them. Like they have unbelievable runs, and that's what you got to be able to do. You got to be able to take care of the ball. You got to get good shots. If you don't, you're generating offense for them.
Hit shot rejected by Edey. They just hit the Edey button.
There's no more high-profile player in the game than Zach Edey. What are your initial impressions preparing for him?
I've not seen a player like him. I've not coached against a player like him. Obviously, it's an exciting matchup. It's a true clash of the Giants or the Titans. Obviously, it's critical to keep Donovan out of foul trouble. There's going to be some battles that he's going to have to be willing to lose so that we don't lose the war in the end.
What do you think it would mean to your team to cut down those nets Monday night?
Oh, it'd be unbelievable because we were lower than low.
For just the second time ever, a 16 beats a 1.
Here we fight and we get to be a 1 seed, and then that happens to us. But, all of our guys, me included, we sat in it.
precious love, the stars spell out. Love longing for our union then. Love my fragrance so captivating. You close to me, I lose myself. Never thought I would find love like this. Never thought I would be waiting. Move your body, let your spirit soar. Ella, your atom, move your body. Oh, I love mine, I know I love mine. Oh, I love mine, why did you have to?